Damn. Wax jackets are definitely having a moment, and if your brand has heritage or rugged anywhere in the title, they're almost a requirement. But like anything, there are good, better, and best options out there. Welcome, I'm Carl Murawski, and this is the channel that helps you own better, look better, and live better. You know, my first wax jacket was actually a DIY job. I took a Carhartt jacket, some otter wax, and I think even just a hairdryer. It wasn't even a heat gun, and I just had at it. And I gotta tell you, I would not recommend doing this for anyone. It takes a long time, and the results can vary. But it didn't take long for me to get well down the wax jacket rabbit hole by looking at brands like Barbour, Filson, Belstaff, and others to try to figure out which one suited me best. Now, because I'm kind of a simple guy, I like to think of waxes in basically 3 different types. You have your dry, you have your medium, and then you have your oily. The other thing you may notice is that a lot of these wax jackets look similar, and that's because there are only a few factories out there that will produce waxed fabric. There are a couple right here in the United States, several overseas, and most of these jackets are using one of maybe 3 different types of waxes, so that's why they'll look very similar. And the last thing to keep in mind is that while I did buy some new wax jackets for this video, I'm using a bunch that I already had. So I'm using them just so I can show you in comparison to others, to give you a wide variety so that hopefully you could figure out which one suits you best. And I know a lot of people will say, what about this brand? What about that brand? If I didn't include your favorite brand in this video, I'm sorry. I honestly didn't realize how many wax jackets there are out there, and I did the best I could with getting the ones that I haven't found a whole lot of information on. If you're looking for a rundown of Barbour wax jackets, you could find that almost anywhere. The brands that I have in this video, some of them have never appeared on YouTube before. All right, first we need to talk about the good wax jackets out there. Those are the ones that you'll find in retail stores like LL Bean, Eddie Bauer, Orvis, or lower priced models from well-known brands like Barbour's outsourced jackets. These jackets usually look the part and they're reasonably well made, but like most mass market products, they lack in refinement. They also cost half as much, and not a lot of people are willing to spend $500 on a jacket when $250 gets them the look they want. These jackets usually won't perform very well when it comes to keeping you dry though. Broadly, the cost of a garment comes down to a few different things. Number 1, labor. Is it made in a place with a high cost of labor? Number 2, materials. Polyester is cheaper than cotton, which is cheaper than wool. And then finally, your pattern. How simple is the jacket? Does it have a lot of extra bits and pieces and pockets and zippers and all that kind of stuff? All that added complexity adds up to the end labor time that goes into it. A great example of this is Flint and Tinder's line of wax jackets. They start as low as $198 for their Indonesian-made James waxed snap jacket, and then $298 for their extremely popular US-made waxed trucker, and finally $358 for their wool-lined waxed trucker. All very simple designs, with the difference being where they're made and the cost of the components. The things that they got right. I really do like this wool material in here, although it's not 100% wool. So this is a wool blend. And what they also did is they did quilted nylon lining in the sleeves. Downsides, I mean, I prefer a snap to a button, to be honest with you, especially when you're working. There also are not gussets in the back. This is oversized, so I don't really feel it. However, I still wish that it had it. So while I think this is a great option, I don't think anybody would ever say this is the best wax jacket in the world, because it makes some compromises. All right, as long as we're talking about products that will basically last you forever, we have to talk about one of my favorite brands, NAFs. Now, you have heard me talk about NAFs for a long time. First, I got their Lander 2. It's amazing. I've been carrying it pretty much all the time. Then I got this. This is their Lulu, which I carried with me all through Montana. It's a great size, wonderful little fixed blade. A nice palm filling handle on this guy right here. Now, the thing about the Lulu is that it's small, right? I mean, it's very capable because, you know, it's got a full tang design and everything like that. The cool thing about the Lulu as well is that I think this is the first one that they made entirely in the US. Everything from the knife itself to the packaging and even the sticker on the packaging was made in the US. But then they decided to come out with something new, which is the large Lulu. And so, like I said, this is a great little capable knife. I think it's perfect EDC. If you like to EDC a fixed blade, that'll do it right there. But their large Lulu kind of takes all that stuff and cranks it up to 11. One of the things that I really like about that knife is that it's a full flat grind, which makes it a great slicer. This one has a lot more material up near the top, which is great for strength and everything. But if you've ever sliced with a full flat grind knife, then you'll know what I'm talking about. But one of the coolest things about NAFs though, and I've talked about this before, but it's really important, is that they're sort of a company that you feel like you could be friends with, you know? So like everybody there just seems real chill. They have a great sense of humor. They have a live stream that you can watch. They have a YouTube channel that you can check out and stuff. And it's kind of rare to find a brand now that doesn't take itself so seriously and will still offer you an awesome product. I always liked that. I like feeling like I know the people behind the brand. And these dudes seem as good as they come. Even if you just go over to their website and check out some of the stuff that they have, I'll bet you'd be surprised at some of the things that might fit your style, even if it's not the Lulu or the large Lulu. Anyway, please go check them out. They've been awesome to work with. They're a really cool company. I don't see it getting much better, you know, and they're very reasonably priced too. So you're getting an awesome product for a decent price. Go check them out. Thank you so much, NAFs, for sponsoring this video. Let's get back to the list. Of course, we can't mention wax jackets without discussing Barbour. The iconic brand was founded in 1894, and their signature wax jackets are recognized around the world. The Barbour classic jackets you'll want are the ones made in their British Simonside factory on the outskirts of South Shields. These jackets are quite traditional and feature double-rolled seams for water resistance. In this group, you'll find varying finishes depending on the model, from dry to their silk oil finish. Models come in short, like the $415 Belldale, or longer, like the $450 Border Wax jacket. Some are available with wool lining and others with cotton, or their classic diamond quilting. Barbour waxed fabric is on the lighter side, being either 6 ounce or 8 ounce depending on the model. Barbour is a brand I could easily make an entire video about. Belstaff is very much like Barbour, using similar materials and styles. Both brands have pedigree and heritage, but Belstaff seems to be much more fashion forward, and you pay a premium for their cool factor. Founded in 1924, Belstaff is known for its waxed cotton motorcycle jackets, and while Barbour is still a family-owned company, Belstaff is owned by INEOS. However, Belstaff offers a 24-month guarantee on their jackets to Barbour's 12. Still, if Barbour is close but no cigar for you, Belstaff may have what you're looking for. However, be advised that none of their jackets are currently being made in the UK. Triple Aught Design isn't the first brand you may think of regarding a wax jacket, but their Interval WX jacket is a unique offering. The Interval is available in several different fabrics, but Triple Aught Design chose to use 9.5 ounce British Millrain Sahara herringbone twill with their dry stay wax finish, which means this jacket is machine washable, something that a lot of the other ones can't claim. The look is deliberately menacing with a matte black finish, yet the details are refined. The herringbone twill looks awesome. If you're a spy or you just want to look like one, this is your jacket. The TAD Interval is made in the UK and will set you back $325. Triple Aught Design does a lot of stuff like this, where they will use sort of angles and stuff to make their stuff look a little more aggressive, and I think it works really well. So you have those angles there. This is the only one that has elbow patches as well. This herringbone material is really cool. If I was going to wear a lightweight wax jacket, I'd prefer this one. I really love those blacked out buttons on the front there. I think it's just a slick looking jacket. When you put this thing on, you look like a badass. One of the best values of this entire lineup comes from the brand Iron and Resin with their $299 Cruiser jacket. This jacket is unique in that it uses 14 3/4 ounce Nizam waxed canvas with a waterproof membrane between the flannel lining and its shell. So it's a heavier jacket with some thoughtful features. Of course, one of the ways they were able to keep the cost this low is by manufacturing it in Pakistan, which is worth noting. This is the waxiest wax I've ever seen, and one that nobody else uses here. So this is, I think, that 14 3/4 ounce fabric. It's nice, it's heavy. I think that lining looks dynamite. Back gussets on this as well, which is really great. Now, I ordered a large. I can't even close it up. So if you're gonna order one of these, just know that they run slim. Probably, again, one of the better values on this rack back here. Filson is a brand that has suffered a gradual decline as prices increase while product quality decreases. For now, you can still find their wax jacket lineup, though it notoriously changes without reason. Filson wax jackets come in a few different flavors. Their cover cloth is a waxed poplin cotton from the UK with a dry finish. Their shelter cloth is a waxed cotton duck fabric, and their tin cloth is a heavier waxed cotton duck, sometimes available in a dry or oil finish. Occasionally, Filson will make jackets from their rugged twill material, which is the same stuff that their luggage is made from, but those pieces are few and far between. I think this was called the Aberdeen. Now this one's okay, but it has a really billowy cut, made in Vietnam, Filson, so you know, it's not very substantial. It's kind of fits like a garbage bag. There's nothing really to it. It doesn't have shoulder gussets. That's a big thing for me. I think of the group here, this is probably the one that I would steer clear of. Beckbe is a brand I've been a fan of for quite some time. I own their original Tensor wax jacket, which is the ultimate hunting jacket in my opinion, but they've come out with several new wax jackets lately which are quite good. The Chatham is a great, simple, lightweight jacket made here in the USA, though it looks like future versions will actually be made in the UK. It's an oily finish on the 8-ounce shelter cloth, and it looks great in this color wheat. The lining is brown cotton, and the price is $325. This is gonna be a specific use case anytime you need a lightweight jacket. But this just doesn't have all of the features like the zipper with the storm flap and all that stuff. It's not as good as the Shallowford, and of course the price reflects that. The build is the same, it just doesn't have all the features that you get with the Shallowford. If you want to turn things up a notch, there's the USA-made Shallowford, which adds some nice features. The closure is zippered with a storm flap. The lower pockets are pleated with hidden hand warmer pockets, and the overall length is a bit longer than the Chatham. The lining is classic Beckbe red clay cotton, and the Shallowford will set you back about $449. I like everything about this. It has shoulder gussets. It has a storm flap with a zipper beneath it. I like the side entry pockets they got going on down here. I like the fact that they also have big besom pockets there if you want to load that up with whatever, shotgun shells, something like that. Devium is a brand I've really come to admire, and they have a couple of wax jackets in their catalog. The Overdrive is a 10-ounce waxed cotton sailcloth with a 6.5-ounce 100% cotton flannel lining in a very cool ombre pattern. Devium also gives you a map showing you where each component is from in the USA. The big thing that will draw people to this wax jacket though is its styling, with those brass zippers that are accented by black fabric, complete with that cool O-ring pull on the chest. And I really like Devium as a company. I think they did a great job with this liner. It's really cool. I do wish it was wool, so that's gonna knock off a couple of points. One of the other things that I don't like about it, again, no shoulder gussets. And if you're gonna make a jacket that's slimmer fitting, now I'm a pretty stocky guy, so everything feels like it's slim fitting on me. But if you're gonna make something that's a little bit slimmer, kind of like this is, you need to have shoulder gussets just for ease of movement. Rogue Territory began in 2008 making custom jeans. These days, they have a full line of clothing, including their waxed supply jacket. The model here is their newest Hunter supply jacket, which adds some length. Being entirely unlined though, you'll want to wear a long sleeve layer beneath this, since waxed fabric doesn't feel great against your skin. The interior is nicely finished, with all of the seams being covered with a white fabric. Overall, it's a clean look with the corduroy collar and cuff lining and hidden snaps. This jacket will set you back $425. All right, so the Rogue Territory Hunter Supply Jacket. I don't know what it is about this. Is it the fact that it's unlined, or some of the details, the simplicity of it? Something about this jacket just doesn't really do it for me. If I had taken this off the rack and then seen that price, I would put it back on the rack. I think that it's a lot of money for what you're getting when there's other options here for even less that give you more. All right, the best waxed jackets. Now, the best waxed jackets, they use the highest quality materials. They're usually made by a workshop that has very few people in it, and they're producing one at a time, or very few at a time. They also use complex patterns or triple stitching, things that take extra time. Now, honestly, any of these could probably be the top pick, although my top pick is gonna be hard to beat. Freenote Cloth is a wonderful American brand that isn't afraid to take a chance on its designs. Most of their catalog is Western inspired, and the Rider's jacket is probably the most famous on this list, having been worn by Casey in the popular show Yellowstone. The design is complex with its 4-pocket and pleated design, yet familiar to anyone who appreciates workwear. There is also a heavier version which uses 20-ounce waxed canvas with a wool lining. Prices are $450 for the lighter weight and $550 for the heavyweight. If you were to say the Freenote Cloth is the best wax jacket in the world, I would have a hard time arguing with you because everything is here. This does have the shoulder gussets, which again, I think is important for mobility. If I had to knock off points, I would say that I wish this was just a lightweight wool rather than a lightweight cotton. Now, the only downside is that some people have skin allergies, and sometimes people can't wear animal fibers. In that case, cotton is actually better for you. It's hard to say how many people create the Duck Denim jackets. It may be a one-man shop, or perhaps 2 or 3 people. Their trucker is a familiar design that comes in several versions, a lightweight, heavyweight, and a 12-ounce blue, and even suede. The grassroots nature of Duck Denim is part of its charm, and the variety will certainly be welcomed by customers who appreciate options. In my opinion, this is the best value in the best jacket category. Prices range depending on material, but expect to pay $395 for the lightweight and $460 for the heavyweight. This one here is their lighter weight trucker in the 10-ounce fabric with a wool liner, of course. These are all things that you could specify, which is really cool. One of the other things that I like about the Duck Denim is the fact that the zipper doesn't go all the way down, so that almost forces you to sort of have the bottom open, and it makes sitting down really, really easy. Of course, you still have the snap if you want to secure it, and that's a pretty cool approach. The other thing I wish it had is shoulder gussets. With this kind of material, like I mentioned, shoulder gussets are essential. Heat Straps is an American brand based out of New Jersey and founded by 2 brothers. Now, for total transparency, I've worked with Heat Straps on several collaborative models, so of course I think their products are fantastic, but I think it's important for you to know. Something I admire about Heat Straps is their dedication to using the best materials available, which means their products are constantly refined. The Workhorse jacket is a straightforward workwear style with 2 enormous hand warmer / tool pockets and 1 zippered chest pocket. These come in either 10-ounce or 24-ounce waxed canvas, each with a 100% wool lining. And prices, $450 for the lightweight, $550 for the heavyweight. I was a part of the design of this, so I can tell you why we did what we did. And I think one of the reasons that I really wanted to work with Heat Straps is because they're always chasing after the highest quality materials. But again, take my advice and my word with a grain of salt here, because I clearly have a vested interest in working with these guys. 100% wool lining on the inside here. This is that 10-ounce waxed fabric on the outside. Big shoulder gussets here, which are also elasticized, so they go back to place. One of the things that was really important, one of the key things on the Workhorse is these gigantic pockets here. One simple zipper here, and that's it. No storm flap, no buttons, because again, the idea of sliding something down the front of you, buttons just get in the way. So this really was meant to be a work jacket, and that's the capacity I've been using it in. Bradley Mountain is a small shop based in Columbia, Tennessee. Their cabin jacket is available in several different flavors, but this one's my favorite. It's made of 12-ounce waxed canvas with 100% wool lining from Faribault Woolen Mills in the US. What makes the cabin jacket so unique is the pocket layout, which makes this one of the most usable jackets on this list. The price for this version is $450. The mighty Ship John Wills jacket is widely accepted as the first wax jacket to use that insane 24-ounce wax twill. Notorious for its build quality as well as the ordering process, those who own a Wills jacket will tell you it's like nothing else. Details like the symbol spun snaps let you know that you're wearing a small batch jacket. Aside from the availability issue, the lining on the V2 Wills, mine is the V1 which is unlined, there's no option for wool lining. Still, if you want the original, overbuilt to a fault jacket, a lot of people will tell you there's nothing quite like a Wills. The price for this bad boy is $598. The Ship John Wills, this is version 1. Version 2 does away with a lot of the things that were bothersome with this. I always thought that this kind of fabric, especially when it's stiff like this, needs a 2-way zipper. The version 2 has that. The version 2 is also lined. Again, if you were to say the Ship John is the best wax jacket in the whole world, I'd have a hard time arguing with you. Now, my top pick, unsurprisingly, is also the most expensive, and it comes from Thedi Leathers. Now, they're definitely known more for their leather jackets than their waxed ones, but several mixed media jackets are available. This model uses a surplus 1940s military canvas of unknown but heavy weight that's waxed by hand. The leather trim is vegetable tanned, and each jacket is custom made to your measurements, entirely handmade in Greece. These jackets are one of a kind and as much of a work of art as they are clothing. Prices for these jackets start at $1,000. But I love the fact that they didn't just take some sort of off-the-roll fabric for this. They used OG military dead stock. So you can see stuff in this. Like here, obviously there was something sewn there. Was it a handle? Was it a strap? I don't know. And again, it's made to measure, so everything fits. The amount of design and detail that went into this, and also scaling everything to my measurements, it's the best of the best. All right, now that we've run through all of them, let's do the placement, because I want to go from the worst wax jacket to the best wax jacket. Now we got the best already here, so let's work our way this way. Now to kick it off, we have the Filson. The Filson down here, this is the Aberdeen. It's just kind of a run-of-the-mill factory jacket. Nothing special about it, and for that reason, it's kind of you know? Now the Rogue Territory, I think actually belongs a little bit higher because the finishing on this is really nice. So I think that we got to put this one a little bit higher up here. And again, the cost, that's a pretty expensive jacket. I think that when it comes to, I like this jacket, but there's not enough about it that's special to me. It's really cool. There's some great things going on there, but I don't feel like this one belongs above the Devium. The Devium is really, really good. They got so much right. And I think that this one has to go a little bit higher. Now the Flint and Tinder is really good. The things that are holding it back, like I said, are, you know, the lining is kind of a compromise. The shank buttons in the front are cool, hard to work in, and no back gussets. So I think that that one has to go there. Next is gonna be the Rogue Territory, because although they did a lot of nice things here, this doesn't have a lot of the features that I would want on a jacket of this price. It feels to me like it's just too expensive for what you get. So we'll put that one next. Now these three are gonna kind of throw me for a loop. We have the Iron and Resin right here, which has so many good features to it. This waxiness kind of turns me off a little bit. The fit sort of sucks, but it does have back gussets. It's got a whole bunch of pockets on the inside. That membrane, the lining, it's really, really good. And we also have the triple aught design, which I gotta tell you, I think this triple aught design, just style-wise and layout, it's really, really good. So I'm gonna go ahead and move the Iron and Resin down. Between the Iron and Resin and the Devium, this one's made in the USA, and I love that about it. All right, this is what I'm gonna go with. The Iron and Resin is next. The Devium is slightly above that. If the Devium had back gussets, I think it would be a lot better. The Iron and Resin gets points knocked off of it because of that slim fit that it's a large. I can't even fit into it. It's just crazy. And, you know, I mean, but it does have a lot of cool stuff. So, you know, you could go back and forth on those, but I'm just going to stick with what I got. So we've got the Iron and Resin, then we have the Devium, and then we have the triple aught design, which I think just has a lot of cool stuff similar to this one here, but it's really, really nice, made in the UK. I'm gonna go with that. Next up, I'm gonna put this, the Shallow Furred from Tom Beckbe, because I think this looks really great. It has a fantastic, almost leather jacket type of look to it. It's put together in a great way. I think that the fit of it is very good and accommodating for different body types. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this one after. It's gonna be slightly above the triple aught design. Next, I'm gonna put the Tin Duck Denim, and I think it's a great jacket, but I think that lack of shoulder gussets is one big hit. The other issue is that there's only one interior pocket, and I like to have at least one on each side. So, you know, they did a fantastic job. I think that they're going to be much better as time goes on and they learn things and refine their process. They're a new company, but I think that one will go next. Now this might sound a little weird because of all the things that I just told you, but I'm actually gonna put the Freenote Cloth next, because while it's great, this kind of button front, it's enough to turn me off from wearing it. You know, again, if you had a zipper and a storm flap, I think that would be better. It has some fantastic features to it and stuff like that, but there's a cotton liner, not a wool liner. It's a great jacket, there's no doubt. I mean, there's a reason that they use this in the movies. It just looks the part. It's really nice, but that's gonna be next. Next up is the Heat Straps Workhorse, and again, take my opinion with a grain of salt. I had a hand in developing this, so I think it's fantastic. One of the things that this has that the rest don't have is it has actually triple stitching on the seams here. Triple stitching heavy material is very difficult, and even the Ship John doesn't have it, and that's a kind of a staple of workwear. That combined with the fact that I've gotten to know and wear this jacket for the last couple years, and it's been so good. It's just one of the best out there, in my opinion. Now, could it be better? Absolutely. Everything can always be improved. That's why that goes there, and the Ship John is next. I think the Ship John has been around for long enough that they have refined it to the point that it's basically perfect. And that's not even this one here. Like I mentioned, the version 2 takes this and fixes everything about it. The fact that this is just so well done and has everything is really very neatly finished on it. The symbol spun snaps I've never seen anywhere else. There's just a lot of things on this that you simply can't get anywhere else. So while plenty of people have tried to replicate this formula, none have been truly successful at it. And I think this still is the king of the heavyweight wax jackets. It's just phenomenal. But when it comes to the best wax jacket I've ever seen or worn or experienced, it's gotta be this Thedi. Now, number one, you're not gonna see this in stores. Not many people are wearing it. Influencers aren't typically buying Thedi and putting it on. There's no affiliate program. They don't work with, TikTok influencers or whatever. You have to find them and then ask them and then wait the time that it takes and pay the cost. But what you get is something that's truly unlike anything else. It's just such a great one-off, and I think that this is a good example of when you're paying more for the artistry and the exclusivity of something versus the actual function, because if you were gonna look for the toughest wax jacket, well, you could find many of those, but when you're looking for something that's truly, truly special and different and unique, and you have the wallet to pay for it, I think the Thedi is fantastic. Now, of course, I don't have Barbour, I don't have Belstaff, I don't have any of those companies on the rack here. Where they would fit, I'm not 100% sure. But I can tell you that you really wouldn't be too upset with any of these ones behind me. Maybe the Filson, but the rest are really, really great. So I hope that that list and comparing them helped you make your next decision on your wax jacket. And if there are any that I missed in this that you're just like, dude, how could you have possibly missed that brand? Let me know in the comment section below. As I said before, I'm always amazed at how many awesome brands there are out there. And a lot of the ways that I find them is through comments of yours. Thanks to my patrons, videos like this are not possible without your support. Thanks to NAFS for sponsoring this video. And thanks to you for watching. I'll catch you on the next one.